Hello and welcome to the second episode of The Agency Dallas, the official podcast behind the red mic. Okay, so today I've got three guests that we are going to be talking with. Two of them are agents on our team and the other one is my lovely wife. And we will be talking about all things real estate. Start with, I'm going to introduce Trey Stewart.
Hello.
Hi, Trey.
Hi.
Trey is actually a newer agent to us, but he has joined a great agent that came over with us early on. I think Curtis may have been like one of the first five that came over.
Curtis Rose, he came over, and two, he had a big team that he had in Kentucky.
From Kentucky, that's right.
Yep. A lot
So
different here in Texas.
Yes,
So
a
you-
lot different.
So you came over, you must have seen us online with the launch. And then
Yeah, actually, the whole reason I even knew that you all were in Dallas was because of Trey.
Surprise.
Trey.
Really?
He was
Just
in the
now.
background.
So Trey
creeping.
indirectly-
He was like, did you know that the agency's in Dallas? And I was like, no, I did not know that. And he was like, you need to make a call right now. And so I made a call 5 minutes later to you.
And we are
So I
thankful
think Trey
for
needs
that.
to
Thank you
referral
so much,
fee.
guys.
Yeah.
So-
in conclusion.
Curtis came over via Trey. Trey came over via
Via
Curtis. And the whole dynamic, I think, between the two is great. And we kind of like thought, obviously Curtis was in Kentucky, so he just got his license in Dallas not too long ago. But I think, and I think that we obviously all met with you and felt like this guy's going to do awesome. So we were kind of like a little bit of a leap of faith with you. Obviously we took it and we were thankful for that.
Glad you did.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Craig,
Trey,
Curtis.
honestly, Curtis, you have been amazing, and you brought us Trey. And Trey obviously has his own podcast, which is very successful, two of them. So the one that you just told me that you like the best, maybe your husband should close his ears or something. But
Yeah, he knows.
You say,
Yeah.
introduce it to us. What
So
is it?
I have a podcast with my friend Stephanie Holman, who was on Real Housewives of Dallas. We've done that for, I think, 5 years now. That was my favorite one. And I have one with my husband, too, that we started doing whenever we got engaged and kind of chronicle our wedding process, kind of the differences of doing a traditional wedding versus a gay wedding. And we've kind of transitioned that more into now talking about our lives, about real estate, and kind of just life as we grow it.
So the funny thing is about that is like I had no idea that you had podcasts when we brought you on. So Megan starts sending me these Instagram
hilarious.
reels of you just having little snippets about real estate, and I'm just like laughing so hard. And of course, this is like 8:00 at night, and my daughter's like laying next to us while we're just chatting about everything. And she goes, "You have to watch this." And then I watch it, and I think the episode or the one that you
It's the
sent
one
me.
where he turned your hair pink, Curtis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but the first one was the one where you said somebody was saying negative things to you, and you were like jumping in the pool in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, she's blocked immediately. I'm never letting her see my thing again.
The mermaid one. That's
Yeah.
the one we're talking about.
Yeah, one thing I've learned is
love that.
people on Instagram are assholes sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's
And rule number one.
Social
don't be an
media.
asshole.
Rule number
Social
one, don't be
media.
an asshole.
yeah. Well,
right.
that is rule number one for the agency, and it is definitely being enforced in this office.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, just the way that you did those Instagram little quick snippets are just amazing because you can see like how somebody would like really look at that and then say, okay, Trey looks like a fun guy to work with on the real estate side of things. And also we did on, having you come over to the brokerage. So when you're doing your podcast, your topics are all over the map, right?
Yeah, I mean, so like Mr. Mister's more like personal stuff. I guess same with like Weekly Dose of BS. That's a little more pop culture-y. So sometimes we go more on the Bravo side because that's kind of initially where our audience came from. But we'll also talk about our personal lives and anything fun going on. I actually talked about whenever I joined the agency, I was talking about kind of my first few weeks here.
Yeah.
I came in very hesitant because I also own a gay bar in Dallas on Cedar Springs. Whenever I open that bar,
What's the name of that bar?
it's called Mr. Mister. It's kind of all one big branding giant. I opened that bar and I was like, this is going to be great. My community is going to be excited for me. This is going to be so much fun. And I was hit with the exact opposite. I had every other bar calling TABC on me, calling the police, calling all this stuff, totally like unmerited in what they were reporting me for, but they were just making life absolutely like it was hell.
That's what happens
And
when
then-
you see a threat.
Yeah, and then I opened a bar in Denver. Same thing. It was at first the media coverage was great, and then it went totally south. And so I came into this. I kind of saw this as like my third chapter, and I was like, "All right, Trey, we are no longer just like expecting the best of people. People aren't going to be happy for you." Came in, and I was like, "Wall up," and I was totally shocked at
The
the
open
agents y'all have in this office. This is what I expected the first time I got into entrepreneurship, and I wasn't met with. So coming into this office and seeing how genuine people were and how gracious and generous y'all are, I think that really sets the tone for this office. And seeing that from every other agent, it has been just the most like heartwarming experience, and it is one of my favorite things that I've done in this life so far.
Let
Oh,
me
I
piggyback off
love
of that
it.
and tell you, you're not going to find that anywhere.
No, oh no, absolutely.
Well,
Anywhere.
But don't you think it only helps everybody?
It
and
does,
it builds
because-
us all up. And,
Yeah. I mean, no assholes. When someone's an
Yeah.
asshole, it really just like brings me down. And I like to go into each day thinking like, you know, what am I going to conquer today and how can I help someone else do it?
Yeah.
And that is totally the vibe y'all have set in this office. And that's really the entire reason I got my real estate license. I had absolutely no interest if it wasn't for the agency.
Really?
So like this
I
was
love it,
not
really.
like on the vision board by any means. I was good doing what I was doing. So
I think we have a company check for you back there after,
Yeah.
after this is all.
Where are my royalties?
Yes, exactly.
But it was something that it just surprised me. And so I shared this on Weekly Dose of BS a little while ago, but I don't think I've told y'all that. But it's been the culture that y'all have set here is absolutely incredible. And my husband all the time talks about like his company's culture, and I didn't understand that until very recently.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
and
appreciate it.
I'll tell you one thing that has been consistent with that whole mindset that you just said. And, you know, I did a podcast with Brian McCauley, shout out. He's not here right now, but we tried to get him. Conflicts didn't work. We'll get you next time, Brian. There is a big void in the market right now for brokerages. And I think the void, especially, well, let's just say I'm talking Dallas specific. The issue is right now that the agent, like we came from a brokerage that had over 600 agents in it. Okay, I'm not going to name names, but there's another one right around the corner that's 400 plus agents. And there's another one that's another 400 plus agents. So the problem with that is not necessarily that somebody can't go to one of those offices and work and sell real estate. The problem is that if anybody wants a more collaborative office and a more family style atmosphere and a more support system, like you come into the office and you sell a house and we're all like, great job, good job. Is there anything else that, we can do for you? You don't get that at a lot of these offices because, there's just a
You're just
number.
a number.
It's just a numbers game. You have all these different agents and they're hoping that these agents are doing well out there and these agents are selling houses, but nobody's really talking in a one-on-one conversation and saying, what can we do to make this deal happen? Or what can we do to help you today? So when we're having these conversations with people that are reaching out to us, it's the same thing everywhere. Like they're all just like, we want to be somewhere where we can feel like we are not a number. And realistically, it's not being done as far as we know right now. And then when we decided to start this, that was the whole idea. We wanted it to be people want to come up to the office, people want to collaborate, people want to see what was working for somebody else and implement it to their side of things. And Megan and the marketing team that she has, by the way, Megan Williamson, my wife, I didn't really introduce.
I'm the man behind the curtain.
She doesn't like that
powers
limelight
the
on her.
Yeah.
But with what she's doing with the marketing side of things and being able to create things specific to agents' ideas, Curtis, for example, had an amazing idea to take his horse to downtown Dallas in the middle of the street.
It was so fun.
In the middle of the street, jump on, get a picture of it, and use that for marketing. And we were like, let's do it. I mean, I wasn't saying let's do it. They were saying let's do it. But
Yeah, totally.
when I saw the pictures of it, we got the photographer like laying on the sidewalk, taking the pictures up from the right angle. And it's just like that kind of stuff. Like you're like, let's make it happen. Let's do whatever we can, grassroots, guerrilla tactic warfare of media out there. Let's do it and let's have a good time with it. And of course, all of it turns out great.
So Megan always looks for like, I feel like the inspiration in people. When you're like trying to find an agent or an agent wants to interview and see if they can come over, what do you look for? Like, what are your like, yeah, I'll take you or no, I won't?
Because y'all are
Like
really
your
good
deciding
people
factors.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, I feel
think
like. Go ahead.
No, I mean, do you feel like you're a good people picker?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you feel that way?
Do you feel like he's a good people picker?
Do you think he's
I think-
not?
I think he will.
He has some area of opportunity?
His reach is very large, and I'm a little more selective.
Well, I think you should clarify that and just say like the people that we interview a lot of people, and some people are going to fit the mold more than others. But unfortunately, we have a lot of people that reach out to us that the issue is like we can't take agents that just got their license. We can't take agents that just see the online glitz and glam of the agency across the country and think like I'm going to join this office and I'm going to start selling $20 million real estate. It's more like you have to figure out like, are they running their business well already? Have they started selling houses yet? Have they got tenure? Have they had a license for a couple of years? I mean, all those things matter. So
You don't want to be a training brokerage.
exactly, and we can't. I mean,
Right.
because
don't have the
the
capacity
model
to do
that we have here is we have to have people that are already running their business well, and if they do their business well, then we're there to help them get to the next level. And that's exactly what, when we interview people and also look at like what's been going on with their book of business, those are all the decisions that are tougher to make because you obviously meet people that are great,
Right.
and then you're just like, maybe in a couple of years they'll get where they need to be, and then we can be in that position to assist them. But I mean, we can't sit here all day and hold training classes on how to write contracts and also how to hold a open house, and then just how to follow up with a lead that may come in. All that kind of stuff is more to the models that, and again, I don't want to say names, but there are several brokerages out there that specialize in doing that and helping people like where you're starting, what you're going to get out of it. We just can't do it. So like, we don't want hundreds and hundreds of agents in the office. We want a good amount of agents that are just doing well, but also you can see like,
What's that number?
and you guys are a great example.
How many do
50.
you want? 50?
But Damon keeps going up.
Well,
Are we going to get to 400?
yeah,
Oh
five.
God, no.
I mean, the sooner we get to 400, the better. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I mean, truthfully,
it's a-
50, 60 agents, something in
Yeah.
that ballpark. I mean,
Yeah.
it you know what? It's not really about the agent count. It's about like, I want to be in a specific volume for the brokerage of what I think is like, we're good. Now we can just kind of keep everybody agent retention, keep everybody where they are, keep them moving, keep them trying to get better and better. That's the goal. It's not necessarily an agent count, but it's definitely quality over quantity kind of thing, which I think is getting a little bit lost in translation these days with some of the brokerage. And I don't blame any brokerage on anything. I don't say they're doing it wrong. They have their own way of doing it. We have our own way of doing it. But that was the goal when we started out.
Well, it goes back to either you're in it for, I guess there's multiple right reasons to be in it, but you're either in it to make a whole lot of money however you want to make it, or
Exactly.
run a super successful business that has
And a place where people want to work. A place where
Correct.
people don't want to just go and hang a license. It's
Right.
Like you guys come up to the office a lot, and that's really what we want. We want people coming up to the office when they're not out selling houses. We want to be able to have that experience where like, let's go to the office and see how everything's going today, and let's see what's been
Have a
successful
fireball
this
shot.
week. We
go to the
don't
office
do
and have a fireball shot.
Or
Or a
espresso martinis.
espresso martini. Yeah.
Espresso martinis. Somebody's been taking those fireball shots up there for sure. I mean,
Somebody's been drinking a lot of espresso martini too, because every time I come in, I see that little swirly thing. In the
Oh, that's because I've been trying to clean it for like a week and I can't figure it out. So I get distracted and move on.
it's not an office style setup there. It's definitely for bars.
Still in the works.
okay.
You're gonna get one for your Mr.
Yeah,
Mister,
I'm trying
right?
to get one for my bar and for my house.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
My husband's like, our house is more of the priority than the bar, and I was like, well, okay, we'll see. But probably he's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Apparently, you need to know somebody to get it, man. It took
Yeah,
a while.
very hard to get. So when you
I'll give you
walked in
my
with
guy.
that, it was like you just walked in with a golden Birkin bag.
I agree.
I
like-
was
it
thankful.
was a total blessing.
I went to pick it up, and the guy was like, "It was tough." To
Did
get
you buy
this.
this out of someone's trunk?
No.
we
Are you
he had to
sure?
go. No, it was a legitimate
Back alley deal.
restaurant. Yeah, but he
like,
did have
"Cash
to go
only."
pick it up in a back alley. So maybe I mean he was like, go over to this warehouse. There'll be and I was like, okay, whatever. Just bring the espresso machine up here. but I wanted to make sure that we talked to too, because one of the reasons I was excited about you guys coming on is your marketing. I know that we do a lot, but you guys bring a different level of marketing that, which I knew that y'all would do. Of course, since y'all brought it on, you've killed it. Everything is so next level, things that aren't everyone's doing. So I think that that's really of interest, that people are watching you guys. What are y'all doing? How are you doing it? Like, what advice do you give agents for that?
I'll go on that and say I think that the reason our marketing gets so much attention is because I feel like as an agent, most people put a box around what your marketing should be, right?
Oh, yeah.
Trey comes in and like he has an idea and he's like, fuck it, why not? Let's just do whatever the hell we want to do, and we do it and it works.
Yep. It does work.
Literally, there's no box around it.
Right.
Like, oh, you want to go do a photo shoot where we're sitting in a one-piece bathing suit holding a firework that's catching on fire. Let's go do it. Okay, yeah. Why
It's
not?
not-
So that's
It's
Trey,
now
the
getting
mastermind
used-
behind that?
On
Yeah, a
Modern
little bit.
Luxury. It's getting hit this week, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Because, I mean, I'm
And
like,
we'll-
this is too good. This has to make its way. Eyes need to see this. But
It's
y'all
great.
continuously, I mean, even the headshot. You know, we've been doing this for over 20 years. There's a very typical real estate
Oh, it's
headshot that comes out.
extremely
Then
typical.
these guys come in and launch their headshot, and it's the glamour shot with
Oh
the
my
matching.
God.
Yeah.
The J.C. Penney's,
The
JCPenney
shoes,
yeah.
like
That
And I'm like,
I will say
brilliant.
that's one that I didn't love.
Brilliant.
I love that.
didn't love that.
I don't know if I
you
saw
what?
that one.
It's all
But
good.
see, like,
my
I
hair is
think
like split in half.
Yeah.
you're
I look like
constantly,
alfalfa.
No.
It was
or
great.
I
whatever
missed that
it's-
one.
It's all
No.
good.
You're constantly being sold stuff all day long.
As
I
a
think-
realtor.
I mean,
In general,
life.
life.
Like,
Yeah, well, that's true,
I'm constantly
too.
being sold coffee and a car and clothes. Like everything, our world is filled with so much marketing. I think it's about how can you like actually capture someone's attention
Yeah.
for more than 3 seconds. That photo did. So
We
it
had
was,
this
like,
conversation the other day. The one thing that we're really good at is getting your eyes on us. Like, we can make you watch.
Right.
And I think that is huge.
because I'm
Well, it
trying to
is.
like sell to myself. If I'm going to shop for a car, I don't need you to sell me a car. Either I've sold myself on that. There's nothing you're going to say that's going to make me do that. Same with the house. Like everyone has access to Zillow. I'm probably going to find my own house. I just need someone to get me in, show me why this is good or why this is bad, and then
And
let's
have a
go forward
good
with it. So
experience.
I'm not going to be like overly salesy or push you on something that you don't want, because I don't want to be sold that way either. But if we can draw attention or show something in a different light, I think that's more of
And
our
make
goal.
people have fun and know that you don't have to be a stickler in the freaking mud to go buy a house. You don't have to work with somebody that's like robotic. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
And
we're
there-
real
and
people too.
And
Every
there
agent
is a
real
lot of that
person.
out there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
there's a lot of that out
there's
there.
a lot. So the problem I think with the real estate world in general is like there is so much out there that's like it makes it look so glamorous on TV, and it ain't glamorous when you're out there
No.
doing what you're doing every day. Like it's a lot of work.
It is.
It is a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens that people don't even see. The showing houses is a very 50% of the business is showing houses and going on listing appointments. The other 50% is inspections and appraisals and texting and calling and emails constantly and title companies and all the things that
You're
people
an
just don't
emotion
see.
manager too. Like
Absolutely.
you manage people's emotions. You're a therapist. You are everyone's therapist.
Everybody says that on the memes.
Yeah, it's
I just got done with therapy. Oh no, I'm a realtor.
just kidding.
The other thing about the marketing thing that you did the other day that I really loved, I think it was maybe 4 days ago, the one where you're stepping out of that picture and it's got the agency
Oh,
logo
yeah.
on it.
Same
I
photo
love that.
shoot.
I was like literally
Yep.
told Megan, I was like, that is so good.
But he's like, did you see Trey's photo? I'm sorry, Curtis's photo of popping out of the background of the agency? I was like, yeah. He's like, who did that? I'm like, Curtis.
Yeah,
And
I
Curtis-
thought that she did
Trey,
it
who
for
was
you.
it was some really good editing photographer.
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
really?
I have
that
a
was a
photographer
green screen that we like
cut in
made
half.
a slice.
I love
Yeah.
it.
But I wanted to be like stepping out of the box because that's kind of how we want to run the businesses.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
stepping out of the box. It was actually a photographer that specializes in like drag queen
Oh,
photography.
nice.
And I was like, I
Yeah,
have
when
a
I
really
initially looked at his page, I was like, oh,
yeah.
this
I was like,
should
I have
be
a really
interesting.
bad idea for you. Can you execute this? He was like, absolutely. I was like, yes. Curtis
It's a
Ring.
bad idea.
love
just so you
it.
know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just showed up.
Well, it is good. And
hands
also,
full
I
of
hate
clothes.
boxes. So definitely break out of that. Okay, so the other biggest thing that I think you guys do so well, that when agents are trying to do market, because this is a, business where they are constantly having to market themselves, and it's a hard thing to do. I think one of the biggest successes that I see you guys have is executing. I always think executing is the key. So people I'll see have these great ideas, but they don't execute and they never come to fruition. You guys are constantly evolving, and every week there's stuff and new content and new ideas, and now we're doing this. And I really feel like that is a huge component to being successful in marketing for real estate.
And part of my ADHD.
Yeah.
And
But you get it done. You get the job done. And here's a perfect example. We had a huge open house last weekend that all the agents came and rallied around. As soon as we got there, there's like 30 of us. Curtis and Trey immediately are down to business.
I love that quick.
Curtis is running full
quick run
speed
through.
around the house,
That was
and I'm
so
like,
funny.
Curtis, are you okay? Are you having an allergy attack? No, we're making content. So
I
Trey
was
behind him with
sweating
the
though. I
camera.
could have easily been having a heart attack. I had no intention of doing that, and Trey was like, out of nowhere, he said 60-second home tour, go. And I was
Love
like,
it.
no, I'm not doing that right now. 59, 58, 57. I'm like, fuck, here we go.
Well,
Yeah.
And we left that, and I was like, what are you supposed to do at a broker's open if you're not like
making content.
shooting content?
Yeah.
Like, why am I here? I can have a drink down the street at Mi Casina.
Right.
So
Well,
it was
to
like,
see the house.
yeah, but it was like, why aren't you like, you have to share that stuff. You
Yeah.
have to, and I think that's another part of like our social media tactic is like honesty sells a lot more than something salesy will.
I agree.
And if you're
100%.
just raw and real, people like that. They don't want your glamour
Scripted.
shots and these like these hard focuses, and like if you just pull out your phone, it goes a lot further.
Well, yeah, because the real
Yeah.
estate world is so vain. So you have like so many people that just focused on the look, but the
I feel like
content
it's
is really what's
becoming more
important these
car
days.
salesmen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of agents are becoming more car salesmen, and you gotta get. I don't think anyone here is that way. Like,
No.
no one at
and,
the
and,
agency
and,
is
and a
that
good
way.
example of that is a guy named Cameron on our team. You know Cameron very well, and he stands in front of the camera and does, very, very, I think, to the point. Here's some information about real estate. He's not selling himself,
But that's his personality.
and
That's
exactly,
It's not him being car salesman either. That's Cameron.
And he always looks good on camera.
He always
Yeah.
dresses
So,
to the nine.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Like,
and
didn't even
and,
feel
and the
bad.
message that he gives to people is more. This is good information for you. He doesn't even say like, and call me if you want to talk more about real estate stuff. People just contact him because he's putting good quality stuff out there that
Right.
you can really relate to as somebody that may actually be in the market.
Yeah.
And what y'all are doing is the fun side of it. So obviously there's so many different avenues that you can do in real estate, but I think the part that we all now see is burned out greatly is selling yourself as an agent.
Yep.
Oh, I did $70 million in volume last year. Use me if you want that kind of experience. I mean,
Everyone's posting.
there's
that.
going to be a minute amount of people that will care about your numbers besides other realtors.
As a consumer,
biggest
I
part
don't
that
give a
probably
shit about how much you've done. Like that is not going to drive me.
Do I
feel
like you or not?
Our
Yeah.
approach is to be
Exactly.
approachable. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the whole thing there. So I wanted to ask you, kind of just talking about how like people think that real estate's glitzy and glamorous. What are 3 things that realtors do that you feel like make people not like realtors?
Well, for one of them, I definitely think it's that they tried too hard to sell themselves as like the numbers make me now you should use me because I have a bunch of numbers. I have sold a lot of houses in my career, but I can tell you that I did not start my sales career based on any numbers. I mean, when I first got in this business, I was in my early 20s. I had no background. I had no nothing. I literally had to live off of relating to clients and hopefully building some value of who I am to them as a realtor. And one of the things over the years that people have always told me is like, he's not trying to sell a house. He talks me out of so many houses. Says like, this is not a good house for you. And I'm like, it's true, because like my goal is like for somebody to come in later and say, he did such a good job and we have a great house, but now we need something different. Let's call him again.
Yeah.
And if they feel like you gave them that service, you're going to get a referral out of it, right? So I don't know if I've got 3 things here, but I can just tell you like the cringy stuff that I see all the time is the people that are out there on the socials, and it's literally just like, just sold.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's their message, just sold. And you're
Like their entire Instagram grid.
Exactly.
Is sold.
Exactly.
Sold.
And there is a place for that, because some people do want to see where an agent sells houses, and maybe it's in an area that they work. But if it's literally just like another sold, it's like, we get it, right? Everybody's going to sell houses in real estate if you're at a certain level. But I think that the big part that most people are really looking for is somebody who's genuine, somebody that they can trust. Number one, the trust is a big thing. Like, I've heard that so many times over the years. I feel like we can trust you, like making a smart decision with the large purchase. And, when you get to that first meeting with somebody and they really feel like they can trust you, then you got a client. Like, the client's with you. They're not going to go somewhere else and use somebody else. There's always going to be people that are going to be out there looking for different houses and different realtors, just because that's just how they are. And they're not going to be super loyal to one person. But I think the vast majority of the public is like that. And of course, when they do check you out later, because you may just meet somebody for the first time, regardless of where it is. It could be anywhere. It could be at the coffee shop. And you're like, I'm a real estate agent. And they're like, well, I know a real estate agent too. Everybody knows a realtor. But if you build some kind of rapport with them and they look you up later and they see something like your stuff online, they're going to be like, he looks like fun to work with. Because, real estate can be fun, but it can also be extremely stressful for clients.
Well, and there are some people that make real estate their entire personality.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think everyone has more to offer than just, I can sell a house.
Right.
I think ultimately you want to be able to trust that person. You want to be able to say, hey, I like this, or that is so not what I want.
Well, picking on trust, I think it comes down to, I wouldn't want an agent, like if you were looking in the realm of things, I wouldn't want an agent who felt like I was their client and they had to have the commission from my house to be able to live, because then you're going to put them in situations that you don't really want to put them in, or maybe you do just because you want to check. And if you're greedy, you're going to get out of the business.
That brings us back to Justin's situation he just experienced.
Oh, it's such a sad story.
Justin Rogers, which is on Brett Whitfield's team, he had a client experience wire fraud to the tune of like $400,000. I mean, like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. And here's the worst is, while he's closing her house, her husband passes.
Oh,
yeah.
my
God. 3 weeks prior, she loses her husband.
So they just got done burying her husband. And the day of closing, they had wire fraud.
2 days, to be exact, I think is what it was. So the point of that is like the other agent was all about trying to get the commission to close. And he told us, personally, he said, it feels very ridiculous that this woman has just gone through all this, and all this agent wants to know is, how is she going to get paid? And unfortunately, in those kind of circumstances, you cannot really just focus on the closing. Like, the sellers need to know what's going on. The seller needs to know the hardships that are happening to the other one, whether you're representing the seller or the buyer. And ultimately, it has to be a situation where you have some compassion, right?
Yeah.
And
be a human.
And they didn't. So Justin was like, I'm going to bite my tongue dealing with this other person on the other side. And the good news is,
better him than me,
is that it's looking like it's turning around in the wife's favor as far as getting some of that money back.
Yeah.
She already got some of it back, didn't
she?
She
quite a bit.
He said that yesterday.
Helped him. He spent his whole, that was all he did, was just helping find an attorney to help with the wire fraud. He did amazing. And
he's such a good guy.
He's very
That's
good
why we
guy.
have an addendum about wire fraud.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to y'all being good people pickers.
Wow.
We are picking good people, but I think that it's one of those situations where you guys, not just you guys sitting in this room, but the other agents that are here at the office, are out there talking about the experiences that they're having, and they're also telling people, like, here's what we're experiencing at the agency. Maybe you should talk to them. So, there's not a lot of recruiting that I'm out there doing, like, just daily, to where I'm just calling people all the day on the phone. I'm getting a lot of people contacting us, and we're just trying to figure out what is a good fit, right? Because, you hear things and you see things, but there's a difference between a shiny object that somebody sees that's new in the industry versus somebody that really wants to be part of a culture that we're providing. Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes down to, who is a good fit. And of course we all have to talk about it. It's like me and John meet everybody, and then Megan will pop in from time to time if she's not cranking out cranking out marketing. And you know, the dynamic for that aspect of it for the office, the other thing I like about it is we are small as far as I'm the owner, she's the co-owner, I'm the broker, she heads the marketing stuff and all the other daily things that we deal with. We have an agent experience manager. We've got an agent director that's John Murray. So it all lives and dies right here in this office. We don't have to go anywhere else. We don't have to make any other calls to find out what we're gonna do today or how we're gonna do it. And I think that's also another thing that's kind of nice in this industry right now. We're not corporate owned. We don't have investors we got to talk to about things. You're looking at it. Let's do this right now.
What it is.
So, what is next on the horizon for Curtis and Trey? I know
You never
guys-
told it. Wait, he didn't tell us his third ick. What's your third
Oh.
ick?
What's like something that if you saw an agent that like applied to work at the agency, if you saw XYZ on social media, you'd be like, yeah, you're not working for me.
Oh, I can tell you. I can answer that.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Let's
don't
hear
you?
it.
Why don't you take?
But
the
I'm going to
third?
be really careful with
Don't be
my
careful.
yeah.
Go for it.
So, because I just know. So we had an interview and they came in. The person came in, and I don't even think we got halfway through the interview, and I was like, absolutely not in a million years. This is so not a fit. So I said, I'm going to go get some marketing material, and I left.
She goes downstairs
Megan,
and grabs.
I
lunch.
feel like you are the nicest human being on planet
I was
Earth.
like,
Look,
where can I be on the world besides in this room? Because this is
I feel like I feel like to
because
clarify
it was
this,
so
it was
not what we are. It was so not our brand, and it was just never in a million years. And it kept going, and I was like, thinking in my head,
Can we
I've
have an
never been
example?
downstairs into the cafe. So I think this is an amazing time to go eat lunch. And so I sat by myself in the cafe, and for my first time since being here.
I need an example.
And
Tell me
I-
it was
what-
just,
What did they
it was
do?
a bizarre interview,
was
and
very
of course
weird.
I don't want to say too
Yeah,
much
I don't wanna
because
say too
like
much.
Something.
like he may tune in of our 10 listeners. So
He may be number 3.
Good. He can take. He can. It's a
So-
learning experience.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was just
it
like
was a very
no.
it was a very it was almost like somebody who had ADHD to the 10th degree,
Oh, God,
and
I
they
gotta
in
go.
their head were thinking about all kinds of other things. Which of course they reached out to us. I didn't call him or her.
yeah, that's why I said this.
Are they already an agent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They moved on to got selected.
Yeah.
They
So,
wanted-
anyways, we all
yeah.
walked out and we were just like,
That was the weirdest interview we've ever been, and I was like, "That's why I wasn't. That's why I was out."
yeah, yeah. So that, I mean,
Yeah. So you just
as
know.
far as the ick
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
goes, I don't know if that was ick, but it was definitely an odd experience. But I think, just piggybacking on what we were talking about earlier, like you can feel when somebody is only there for the money. And obviously we are in this business and work to make money, but there's an ability to really have like an agenda of good customer service, having good sales. You obviously want to make money via volume, but if you're not doing it in a respectful manner and just kind of like in it for the paycheck, it comes through. Like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
see it. People can see that.
I just don't like the there's a lot it's a very competitive business, and I don't like the competitive part of it. And I think that we've always tried to do that where we were before, and so that was a big thing that we wanted to make sure agents came on that were not of that highly competitive group, because it's always like closed doors, no information sharing in it, like step on anything to get to the top, and that's so not anything that I want to be a part of. So,
I
You want
feel
to
like
be respected in your industry.
yeah.
I feel like though we have a entire group of highly competitive people, but everyone inside of here is like a family. Like our agents wouldn't be as successful as they are if they weren't competitive.
Yeah.
But we're not competitive with each other.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the competitiveness inside an office never goes well. I've been in those offices before, and you don't want to be like looking at somebody and being like,
I want to cut
are
you
they
throat
going to
right
get that listing, or am I going to get that listing? You know, like it shouldn't really be like that working for the same brokerage, but unfortunately it can be.
Yep.
We don't have that. We don't want that here. Like we've been talking about, like
experienced
I think the great thing that she does when she is creating content and the marketing team is creating content, it's like you we do something that may work for you, and
The
guess
best
what?
content.
He could use it also, and just make it towards him if it's working well. And like those kind of things, you just don't see. It's usually like, well, what is it that they did to get that listing? And then you find out what it is, and then you're like, okay, well, I only found out because they wouldn't tell me. It's not like, hey, how did you secure that $10 million listing? Oh, just my contacts. Well, it's usually something, right? There's always some procurer of the sale, and whatever that is, that a lot of times agents don't want to share that stuff. In this office here, we are sharing that every day, and we want to be like that because we're not all going after the same stuff. We're all working in areas, but
And I feel like
some of the
every
areas
time
are the
y'all
same.
do, you guys, I always see you guys collaborating on
We're
it. And then
teaming up on
They
it.
team
Yeah.
up, and we have so many projects right now in marketing with different agents inside the brokerage that are teaming up and going after. It just makes it more successful.
I don't know that I've ever said this, but we were at the photo shoot at your client's house that had the most amazing dining room I've ever been in my entire life. My favorite home of all time.
Beautiful house.
But
Ursula, Preston
I was
Hollow.
still kind of new to the agency, and I think a lot of people were actually. But one thing that I remember that stuck out to me was there was a new construction across the street, and I think it was Chase Duran said to you, but talking about him and Eddie, like, hey, there's a new construction over there. Eddie and I, which are not on the same team, but in the same office, Eddie and I are going to go over and talk to him and see if we can get that and start working that together. And I was like, oh, wow, I like it here.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I see that all the time. And I think that's the way business should be. And there's strength in numbers and everybody teaming together, you get so much further.
Yep.
There's
I
enough
agree.
real estate to go around for everybody.
There is.
And honestly, like if you're going to help other people, I think it's also good karma in this industry. Because if you're known in this industry as like being a good person and like doing a good job with like whether it's working with a buyer or working with a listing agent, you meet these people and you have those experiences where like I enjoyed working with them on whatever it was, the other side. Those are the kind of people that you're going to like really be excited to work with again and also go after later and say, I have an off-market listing that may work for your buyer or vice versa. And those kind of things, like those reputations in the industry are gold.
Yeah.
And, you have, for every one good one, there's 100 bad ones, that you don't want to work with anymore. You don't want to see that happen again.
I can name quite a few of them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to.
Well, I love that saying. I won't remember what you said to me, but I'll remember the way you made me feel. And I have to
That's great.
feel good about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it in order to want to keep doing it. So let me ask you, what is one of the weirdest things you've done
Oh, God, here we go.
to close a deal?
That's the weirdest things. I don't know if I've done anything weird. I would call it weird. I would say more of like going way above and beyond to make sure it happens, and even doing the job of the other agent on the other side. I mean, there's like some times where you're just like, can you just do your job so I can get this closed?
I think I'm racking my brain through all the weirdness because there's been some weird stuff. I think that one and he was the Dallas Stars or something, and then the day of closing, he is like, hey man, I don't have any movers, and I got a bum leg, so you're gonna have to
literally,
move my stuff.
I forgot all about
Damon
this guy.
Moved all of his
He
stuff.
totally
Personally moved his stuff?
Personally
He
moved
totally
his
played me into this situation. This is, of course, years ago. This must have been 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But I sold a house to this guy who's relocating in town, and super nice guy. Like, I really enjoyed working with him.
And let's also note that of all our moves in life, Damon has never moved a lamp from any one of our properties. It is always.
I don't get involved in the moving
Not only
side
does he
that
not
often.
move one lamp, but he's always not there the day of move. He's like, I've got to work.
That would
I've
be
got to
I've got
show
appointments.
houses.
I'm
And I'm like,
booked.
so the fact that he was there and also moving, and I didn't talk to him for like 6 hours. I thought he was dead or something.
Okay. So
And he
I'll
was like,
tell you real quick. I'll give you the cliff notes on what happened. The guy's moving in town, and decent house. I mean, years and years ago, over $1 million. So I'm
Just
like,
decent.
I mean,
Over $1 million.
Look, I'll tell you,
Decent.
like the Dallas real estate market price range now versus
Ridiculous.
10 years ago is insanity. So he calls me and says, everything's closed and funded. I'm driving in town. Can you meet me to give me the keys? I'm like, cool, meet you there. He shows up in a U-Haul, a large one. He's got his 2 sons that are teenagers with him. And he says, hey, man, would you mind? I know this is a lot to ask, but would you mind if you could just help my sons get a few things off the truck? Because I hurt my back the other day, and I just don't think I can do it, and I can't get anybody to help me move. So I'm like, okay, what is he? I'm thinking, what does he have in here? A few things, like no problem. I'm of course like immediately like sure, and he opens it up. It's packed.
It's packed. Oh yeah, I forgot I have a 1 o'clock.
It's packed, and I'm like, I'm hoping he's just going to tell me a few items. I mean, I'm hoping I'm not doing all this. And like literally 2 hours later, that truck was empty, and it was me and his 2 sons. He may have picked up a few things.
Wow.
It was a good day for Damon.
I was, and of course that was not like the only thing I was doing that day. So I'm like soaked in sweat. And this is also when I was dressing like how real estate agents used to dress around, which is slacks, nice work shoes, button up. I didn't have a jacket on, didn't have a tie on. But of course, like not the outfit that you would choose to move anything in. And I called her afterwards and I'm just like, look what fun I just had.
Yeah, it was a little more descriptive than
Yeah.
that. But I was
yeah.
like, wow, you moved? Will you do our house?
I know.
Yeah.
And it was, of course he did resell that house with me. I mean, it was like, let's just put it this way. It was sweat equity in the situation.
Literally.
Absolutely.
You earned your check.
He resold his house with me, bought another one. I haven't heard from him in a few years, but I'm sure he's happy where he is. So, but yeah, I mean, weird stories. I mean, you just know things just come about time to time, but I couldn't tell you anything absolute. Well, besides like people saying they can do things that they can't really do. Like I'm looking for a $5 million house cash. Show me a bunch of $5 million houses. Then they never produce proof of funds, and then they just disappear on you. I've had that before. But, of course, like sometimes they'll even send you like fake proof of funds. Like
But nothing weird. Like what?
Well, I did walk
ever
in.
happen to you?
I did walk into a house one time to show, and a man was in the shower. And then I also walked into a house another time where a woman was walking by in her towel about to get in the shower. Fortunately, she had clothes or something covering her up. But of course, my clients and I were walking in the house. We're just like, hi.
Oh, with a client, not a listing appointment.
Did
Yeah,
you have
clients.
one too that I vaguely remember this, and the mistress was there, and you were like, I don't know how to handle this or what to say.
Oh, yes. You have way better
I
memory
know
than
it's
me.
just like it's spotty.
Like I met him and his wife.
And then he
brings me back another
Yeah.
time. The mistress is there, but he's like being awkward about who she
Yeah.
is and what she is, and I'm just like, hey,
I
everything's
hope
cool.
you
I don't-
got that listing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure I did. I
Then
don't know.
we'll close the deal.
Yeah. Hey man, whatever you got going on, I don't care.
Sign
Yeah.
right here.
Oh.
Oh.
No, but I did.
Right
I
now.
did. I
Yeah,
did
you
sell a house, and I didn't know this until after closing because I sold 2 houses, one next door to each other, and it was just an odd situation where like 2 houses came on the market at the same time. I had a buyer for one, buyer for another one, and one of the ones that I sold that was a female, she was hosting like the videos or whatever in her house, and the next door neighbor who still
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I get not at the time. Like this wasn't OnlyFans world back then, but online, whatever, streaming online video. And the guy next door told me that that's what she did after he moved in, and I was like, I can see that. It's kind of had
the
some of those
description.
vibes, yeah. But the funny thing is like the lender at the time, which is Justin Bell, if you remember him, he told me that her job description was entertainment. So I'm like, okay. Makes sense now. But I mean,
I think-
nothing crazy like
I
that.
think Trey's is way more entertaining.
I don't think women are out there soliciting
No, but I was
agents
thinking,
to say like, if you want this commission.
I was thinking in that moment, I was like, I'm sure there are a lot of female agents that have been in this
gosh, yes.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
That feels so
There is
uncomfortable.
one that worked for him a long time ago, and I remember, which I don't know what happened, but I do know he ended it with $100 gift card. Remember?
Me?
No, not you.
I gave somebody $100 gift card.
No,
or he
the-
gave her one.
Yeah, he gave her a $100 gift card and was like, I no longer need any houses, but here's a $100 gift card. And I was
Oh.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, I can't remember specifics on
Yeah.
that. But I would say I would say any attractive female agent that's been out there showing houses to single men has probably had proposals over the years for those kind of things.
100%.
And it's unfortunate because you are in like these intimate situations of like being one-on-one with people all the time in houses, and like, men are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Trey, you're just a good looking guy.
I mean, I was like,
gotta be
sir, I'm so
prepared."
flattered, but I'm married.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Go
Do
put
you
your
see
underwear
that?
back
Do you like
on.
my ring?
Now, if I wasn't married, I would have closed the deal. But Gotta do what you gotta do.
I love it.
So you already take the cake for that conversation.
Yeah.
And what's it been? Just a few months now, Trey?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know.
He's
I'm a
hitting it out of the
ho-no-mo.
park.
Yep.
Immediately,
Oh, no.
like week 1, executed a contract. What'd you have to do for that deal?
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Just
with
tell Stephanie Holman.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
That's good.
She probably didn't make you do too much for it besides just go out and have a drink with her.
No, she's my easiest client so far. Yeah.
I love it.
Have you ever sold a house to a famous person?
Uh,
Can you tell us who they were?
Not anybody that would be like nationally notable. Just some sports players over the years. Couple hockey guys. But yeah, I wouldn't say anybody that's been
Not super famous.
Yeah, not super famous. But
Trey, I feel like you can bring us those all
clients.
stars. I think you can close the deals on those guys.
You want to know something interesting?
I'm scared now.
So, friend Stephanie, recently they tried to go get new homeowners insurance, and no one will touch them with a 10-foot pole because they were on reality TV.
Really?
So they said just because they're such a target, because people kind of know the layout of their house and know what's in the house, there were cameras. Most insurance companies will not touch you if you've been on reality TV in the last 4 years.
I did
And
not
so
know
they're
that.
kind of like stuck with who they have for another couple of years.
So what are they going to do?
Just keep who they have. They're just
Okay.
trying to like shop the rate and stuff, but no one would touch it.
Okay, so one last thing to discuss before we wrap episode 2, which I think has been extremely successful. The grand opening that we have for the agency coming in September. We got the Rustic being rented out. We have
Vado.
major bands coming apparently
Yeah.
in Megan's TikTok world.
Yeah, it's a DJ, and they're
So
amazing.
exciting.
And now they're officially signed, so they're flying in.
We've got celebrities from across the country coming that are all
Y'all know who that
TV
is,
related?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
yeah.
On
'Cause
Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I guess
Damon
the big
doesn't
question is, what are y'all going to wear?
This keeps me up at night. It also keeps me up at night, like how many of those frosés from the Rustic I should drink until we're like, Trey, that's enough. I don't know. What are you wearing?
I have 2 ways I'm either going to go. I'm either going to go professional-ish, or I'm going to do, I saw this outfit on TikTok last night, actually. It's like tight whitewash blue jeans with a, like, it's this specific rodeo shirt. But he had, like, the way that he did it was really cool, and I liked it. It was, like, kind of like cowboy, but kind of like retro, and then maybe one of those hats that you were showing me on Etsy.
Sounds like a
Rhinestone cowboy.
Who is it?
one.
Diplo?
I'm going to have to see
That sounds like a
to
Diplo
understand
look.
that.
Is it
Yeah, it
Diplo?
does.
Yeah,
It does.
And he does it well.
So we're
I
buying.
think Curtis could pull it off.
I think
Oh, we'll
he could.
see. I'll stand in front of a mirror, and if I don't look good, I'll definitely show up in
I'll let you
business
know.
casual.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I'm not going professional. I'm going fun and themey. So denim and diamonds. I'm like trying to see where we can go with that. We're buying these special like cowboy hats for all of our personal
Crew.
invites. Yeah. So it'll be. I'm going more diamonds than denim on this.
Yeah.
Love it.
What are you wearing?
All diamonds.
Oh, good.
He has
What are
no
you
clue.
wearing?
I honestly
I have
think
no
I'm just
clue.
going to probably do. I mean, it's the Rustic has the dirt on the floor on the outside where it's going to be most of the stuff. So probably boots and something else. I don't think I'm going to do anything too wild
Real
or crazy,
ranchy.
Yeah.
but little ranchy professional maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Little Eddie Wilbank.
I need
thrown in
cowboy
there.
Eddie
boots.
Wilbank style.
Yeah,
I
you
feel like
definitely
cowboy
need-
boots are like a staple in this office.
Oh, for sure.
The only
You
boots
don't
I have
have
are like
cowboy
Saint
boots?
Laurent.
Over the
Yeah,
top
no.
Texas
What?
theme, so you got to play onto that.
I know.
People,
yeah.
I think, across the country love the idea of Dallas being open with the agency now. So Megan, I think, was thinking, you know what, we're going to do it big, or we're not going to do it at all for the Texas theme. So that's what we did.
Everything's
That's
bigger
right.
in Texas.
That's,
That's
right.
right. We
Give them
loved
what
it.
they want.
I do think it's so funny
Okay.
that people think like Dallas and they think like horses and ranches and like, but Dallas is a lot more glitz and glamour. That's more like
yeah.
Fort Worth.
The one thing I
Yeah.
actually was going to say that I think we forgot about to talk about, which we can wrap with this, but Dallas was in the top 3 areas in the United States for the most sales at the 10 million plus range.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
Good.
I mean, we're supposed to be in a situation where Dallas is considered affordable real estate, but now it's also an affordable real estate world and a luxury real estate world that is the top in the country, or one of the top in the country.
Affordable.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, I
Thank
want to
you.
make sure we tell them
Yeah,
because I
thank
want
you all.
people to follow them on their socials and be entertained because it's such great content. And I know that there's
we
more
will,
to come.
We will drop their
so
links.
tell me, have them tell them.
Yeah,
Go ahead and tell us
You
your
can
socials.
find me on social media, Instagram at Curtis Rose Realtor, Facebook, all that good stuff. Curtis Rose. Just Google me. You'll
can
see me.
find me at Trey_Stewart.
Yes.
And that's it.
And or
Everywhere.
on your podcast.
Everywhere.
Or you can follow my podcast, the Mr. Mr. Podcast, or Weekly Dose of BS. You can follow me on Threads. I don't use Threads, but I should use Threads. Do you use Threads?
No, it was gone in 24 hours.
Okay, don't follow me on Threads.
But if
I
you do
hi-
want a good laugh, Trey's podcast and Curtis goes on with him. It is a great
It is
experience.
hilarious.
So.
And I also highly recommend Trey's Instagram stories because they disappear. So you have to stay on top. And I'm always like, dang it, it's gone forever. I can't show anybody else. But they're so good.
You got an insight to get
Thank
it firsthand.
you.
Yeah.
though.
I'll show you how to save those.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for coming.
you.
We
Thank you all for
appreciate
having us
y'all
on. It
spending
was
the
fun.
time with us. And that is a wrap for episode 2. Thank you.